Number three, what does live application development, testing, and modification mean? Start with Michael.
Yeah, so that's actually a really great question. And you know, when I was initially speaking about problem solving, critical thinking, citizen development really hits home with that. It really, one of my colleagues that I have used the phrase, it empowers bold behavior, right? And so when I think about live development, I go back to March 2020, where this big bad thing called COVID was coming to get us, and there's 60 of us sitting up in a room in DC, and we're trying to figure out, you know, what routes we're going to keep and what incidents we have to respond to. And, you know, we've got about 900 plus facilities that we have to keep track of. So the ask was, we need a way to track COVID cases that are coming in. We need to be able to track where our employees are at, and then respond to that and display that to the executive and the board. We went to IT, and, you know, of course, no disrespect to them, it was going to take, I want to say they said 2 to 3 weeks to at least have a dashboard. And that was absolutely unacceptable because we needed it like yesterday. And so I very quietly turned to my boss at the time and I said, hey, listen, I've been working with this program. I think I can have this done in like a day or two. You know, what do you think? And she's like, go for it. So I literally jumped on it, started developing. As I'm developing it, I'm asking the different executives. I went to our chief of police. I'm going to the operations, the engineers. I'm saying, hey, what do you really need to see? And as we're doing this, I'm able to connect all the dots and have a way for us to input the information and then display it, very quickly, live, as a matter of fact. So being able to do that and test it kind of as we're going through the process was really critical. And it was actually successful enough that we're still using it today, the product. So it's not one of those things where, you know, you've got to go through this long agile waterfall approach and connect the dots, and it takes forever. These are tools that you can build live on the fly. So yeah.
Excellent. You know, the live component, event driven, the streaming, the reactionary scenarios that come into the daily workload is now part of the development process. You know, if they let it, right? I mean, that's the whole point. Is what do you mean? All right. So, Tom.
Sure. Well, 2 points here. One, just picking up on this theme of the pandemic and how live application design and development could help many industries. You know, the food production is critical. There were many supply chain challenges, and I saw some firsthand, development of what needed to be, agile. And that's the second point I'd like to make is we've been talking as an industry about agile for a long time, but this is the real agile. The live application and development is what we meant all along by agile. So now we're calling it hyper agile. But no, it's very dynamic and very exciting. We are not all technically oriented in IT, but it's hard to think of anyone who doesn't use technology and who hasn't said, I just wish my app would do this, or I need this additional piece of information to do my job. And when you have an environment where you allow citizen development, and then people get what they need to do their jobs. And that has been, again, one of those eye openers in seeing this technology and this methodology put to use.
Good. Adam? Did Adam hear me? Oh.
Adam's on mute. It had to happen, huh?
Take two, go.
So we've got a test environment, so we build directly into a test environment in the live environment, so we don't wireframe or anything. We build it because a big red band across the top, and then once all the testing is done, then we can push it to live. So that helps clients to really understand and see what the application is going to do, as opposed to looking at a wireframe. But the big challenge is making sure that what goes out in subsequent iterations are up to business spec and so on. So we're really strict around having that gatekeeper to say, okay, well, right, let's push this to live, because the downside is just getting anyone to be able to push, live solutions through. And if it's a financial system or really a business critical system, it could cause challenges. So vital to have that gatekeeper in there to say, right, this is ready to go live.
Thank you. And Lance, of course, live is in class by the end of the day, right? That's about as live as it gets, right?
It's fascinating. So I teach systems analysis and design, and it's based on the traditional SDLC, which is a great baseline methodology on how to build software. And I think it's important to at least understand the tasks and process of building software. But, just to kind of summarize, we've gone from SDLC to, the 70s and 80s to object-oriented computing, which led into the client server tech in the 90s. And then agile, like Tom said, hyper agile and extreme programming. And now we have no code, low code in live. And we spent a lot of time teaching professionals how to capture the business need, how to document it as a requirement. You had the functional, non-functional. It was complex. Our process is complex. Like I just want my car to work. I don't want to understand the engine. I just don't. I want it to be an awesome car. So now we're at a point to where now we can really have conversation around design. Everyone's a designer, regardless of their background. People design things in general. And that's what the live application does for us, is it gets us right to the design. I think it allows us to accelerate our go-to-market and identify and generate value. Instead of saying, here's the business need, here's the requirement to achieve that need, I think now we can sit with our business constituents and say, what is the value of even creating this? And we all have the experiences of building systems, and the IT person has all these functions in there. And it's like, I don't need those, but I need this. Well, we can talk about this now in a live environment, and then the testing and modification, it's happening in real time. So to your point, Ed, we're talking about 8 hours. The last thing I'll say is when I got my master's in MIS in 2006, heard a lecture that back in 2006, the Google model was like you'd get a requirement at the water cooler and be expected to have it in production by the end of the day. I think it's by lunch, by the evening. I think it's even faster than that now. And low code, no code gets us there.
Excellent.